Alright, so we'll do traditional seating. Who's going to be running the calls?
I didn't say anything about running calls. Probably one house. Well,
You have to switch out.
we're in ladder one.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see what it is.
Okay. Alright. Double check, make sure there's not able to see the whole classroom though. That's better.
Remember what I said? Let me get through it. Are you filming yet? You want to do that? Are you filming?
Yeah.
Okay. If you're not actually participating like doing the tests and stuff, just sit back.
I probably will.
We're also. Is it cold in here to you guys?
Just don't bump the table.
Yeah, the instructor's supposed to supply practice.
Why what?
The instructors are supposed to supply practice these early morning classes. That's what I was promised.
Sign in roster. You guys would just, if you're not on the list, just add your name to it. Here's that. Go through, check mark stuff, keep me in track. I bumped up the heat a little bit, so didn't have time to get it going before we got started. Anybody else coming in?
We're supposed to.
Can you cut these here?
Find another.
That might be a back smoking. I see that was with a cigarette. I don't know what Jim is.
That makes sense. Let's run this though.
Is that what's, as soon as you can come in,
This is that coming.
we'll come in.
Okay. Same size. Almost.
Yes, this will count for data training too.
But there is a list. It's same. I should. Assuming I do this.
All right, well, good morning, everybody. Thank you guys for coming in. I really appreciate you guys doing this for me. A couple things to go over real quick before we start. In the event that we are called to service, the responding crew just quietly get up and exit, take the call. If it comes to a major event that we all need to go, we will conclude the class for the day and get to work. After class, just clean up after yourself, get tables put back, get everything resorted.
Where's the bathroom?
Bathroom, so if you take a left outside this door, go straight down the hallway, there's a bathroom there. If you cut to the hallway, take a right, take another right, you got 2 bathrooms along that wall as well. In the event of severe weather, we will exit and go to the storm shelter, which is just down the hallway as well. It's supposed to be sunny, mid-50s, should be alright today. But just in case, we know where to go. When the overhead alarm goes off, we will all stay quiet, get the message out, and then like I said, whoever's responding, please get up quietly. Put your phones on silent, we don't have any distractions. My name is Chris Scott, firefighter MT here at the City of Lebanon. And today, we are going to go over Chapter 13, Hose Operations and Hose Streams. By the end of this, you guys will be able to describe methods used to deploy fire hose, describe methods advancing hose, and explain how to operate different types of hose lines, nozzles, and master string devices. Objective number 1, describe methods used to deploy hose. So a lot of this stuff is used to assist with movement, handling, protection of our hoses and our equipment. A lot of our common, we LDH drainage, hose protection, chafing blocks, hose straps. Who can tell me what an edge protection is used for?
Going over the head.
Going over the edge.
It protects it from any sharp objects.
Good. What is on the edge protector that is going to assist that hose?
It's a smooth.
No, you got 2 rollers on the edge protector. So
Oh, okay.
it rolls over the edge protector. You see the 2 hooks right here, kind of might be hard to see. Dim the lights real quick. There we go. So it hooks into the frame of the structure, rolls over, and then you have anchor points on the other side. You can use a hose, like your hose strap or a piece of webbing, rope, something to tie that off to keep it secure in place. LDH drainage, when we're done with our LDH, clamp it over, roll it out, get the air and water out of it, make it easier to lay. Hose collection. Primarily used for large diameter hoses. We all know that those are filled with water, they're extremely heavy, very hard to move by yourself. A lot of the older ones come with a crank style, so you can crank it up, roll it up. A lot of the newer ones like we have here is electronic, you can walk behind it as it rolls it. Traditionally used for collecting the hose after an incident. Hose ramps, hose bridges. So if we're operating on a road that we still need traffic to go through, we can set the hose in the bridge, allow traffic to continue movement and go over. Due to contrary belief, you cannot put that over a railroad track and expect a train to safely go over it. So don't try it on a railroad track. You can also use it if we have a contaminated area. You can set that over the contaminated area, set the hose on top to keep the hose from getting contaminated. Chafing blocks, not really used much anymore, but they're used to keep your friction from causing abrasions on your hoses. A lot of the newer hoses now, the rubber linings that are in there, to what they're constructed out of, once they're flowing water, they have the pressure. If it's set right, it'll keep it from causing any friction on the ground. But you got leather blocks, spare tires, I mean anything that you can use to get that hose up off the ground. Hose straps, hose rope, and hose chain. I've never seen a hose chain. So if anybody has any idea of what that might look like. Hose straps, very simple. Use a piece of webbing, carabiner, tie a loop in it, get your arm around. That's shown in the first picture there. Makes moving the hoses a lot easier, a lot more effective for a single person to advance a hose line or hold in place. Keeps that backward pressure off of you. makes it a lot easier. You can use it to carry, pull, or handle a charged hose line. You can also use it to secure the ladders, to keep it from falling off the side of the ladder onto the windowsill without proper edge protection. What type of tools are used to deploy fire hose? Anybody? Other than yourself. Webbing. Hose rollers. Edge protectors. Thing we just covered. Alright, so now we're going to come into hose appliances. Everybody's favorite thing. Hardware that is used for controlling water flow, creating pathways through the hoses. Most common types are valves, valve devices, fittings, and intake strainers. With hose valves, you got your ball valves, butterfly valves, clapper valves, and gate valves. Ball valves are used for discharges and gated Ys, open when the handle is in line with the hose, and closed when it's offset or 90 degrees from the hose line. The ball valves, very simple. It's a ball with a hole in the center of it. When you turn it on, that hole lines up with the nozzle, allows the water to flow through. When it's closed, you have a solid piece of butterfly valves, commonly used on our intakes. It could be a quarter turn to open it up, or it can be electronic, like most of our equipment. Hold the button, valve opens up, allows water to flow through, and then it shuts. Clapper valves, mainly primarily used for FDCs. Clapper valves are kind of like how it sounds, they clap. So if you got water going through, it's hinged on either the top or the side. Water's going through and it keeps backward pressure from coming out the other end. When you shut it off, that valve closes. So it's a hinge. And gated valves, used to control flow from hydrants. You can use gated valves to lower pressures, increase pressures, trying to help you with fluctuations. Valve devices allow a number of hose lines operating in fireground to be increased or decreased. They include gated Ys, Siamese appliances, water thieves, LDH appliances, and hydrant valves. Y appliances divides one line into two. In the Siamese, you take two to create one. So you take a 2.5, make it to 1 3/4, an additional attack line. On a Siamese, you're going to take two of the similar 1 3/4 to make one 2.5. So increase the flow, increase the pressure. Gated Ys have valve control outlets, and ball valves are generally used. Water thieves resemble Y appliances in operation. Inlet and outlet of matching size combined with similar outlets, or smaller outlets that steal water from the main line. Larger volume water thief appliances consist of LDH, an outlet, 2 or more 2.5-inch valve controlled nail outlets. Fittings, adapters, reducers, elbows, hose caps. Adapters, so you can add hose to another. Connects hoses and outlets of different diameter and thread types. Protects couplings on standpipes, apparatus intakes, and outlets. Your two main types are adapters and reducers. Adapters connect the hose couplings with similar threads and same inside diameter. Double male, double female. Allow 2 male couplings or 2 female couplings of same diameter or thread type to connect. Adapters that connect two-way couplings and onto threaded hydrants, outlets are becoming increasingly common. Reducers used to connect smaller diameter hose line to the end of a larger one. So what's the most common reducer that we use?
2.5 inches, 3/4.
2.5 to 3/4, most common. See those laying around everywhere. They're easy to lose. Also, it's like a 10 millimeter socket in a shop. You can never find it when you need it. Limits larger hose to supply one smaller line only. Using wide appliances allows larger hose to supply two smaller lines. Other common fittings, you got your elbows and your hose caps, my apologies. Elbows support intake or discharge hose and pumping apparatus, and hose caps, they protect threads on the male outlets. Used on standpipe outlets and stairway risers to prevent attack line kinks. List 5 commonly used hose appliances. We already named one. What else? Gated wide. Water thief. Siamese. One more. Reducer. There we go. Alright, so we covered the appliances, the reducers. So now, fun stuff. Forward lays. So forward lay is the most common lay into a fire. Forward lay is hoses deployed from the water source to the incident. First coupling come off the hose bed. Should be a female. Unless a two-way storts are used, either coupling will work. Deploying hose consists of stopping apparatus hydrant, allowing firefighter to safely leave the apparatus and secure the hose. Firefighter making hydrant connection must know the proper procedure for securing and connecting to the hydrant and the correct operation of hydrant valve. So in Springfield, I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but the hydrant valves are backwards. So if you try to open up a hydrant there like we do here, you're going to lock it. So it's opposite. So always know which way that valve needs to turn, which on the drum of it will have an arrow that says open, if you can read it. Sometimes you can't. When signaled up, apparatus proceeds to the fire, deploying either a single or parallel hose lines. For us, it's 5-inch LDH. The advantages is the pumper can remain at the incident scene, so hose, equipment, and tools are readily available. Your operator will be able to see the fire, be able to make changes if there's any changes within the fire ground that other people can't see. Be able to keep an eye on everybody. Making the hydrant connection. Right? I forgot to hit that. So here's your advantages right here that we just covered. I went a little fast, my apologies, guys. Making the hydrant connection. Like we said, remove the hose from the apparatus, wrap the hose around the hydrant, or if you have a strap connected to your hydrant pack, throw that over your hydrant. Anchor the hose. You can either anchor it with 1 foot. I don't really like doing that because if it catches friction, it can take your feet out from underneath you. So just be wary of that if that's the method that you choose. Then you're going to signal your operator, your driver, to move forward to lay that hose down. When making a hydrant connection, local SOPs and resources dictate the method used for connecting hose to the hydrant and the forward lay. The simplest is the firefighter takes a hydrant wrench, the finished section of hose, and the radio. Why would we take a radio?
So they hear you.
Right, so they can hear you. Daytime, it's easy. You can see your hand signals. If you're within eyesight, I know all of us don't have the perfect vision, so sometimes you can't see how far you have to lay down the hose. So your operator will tell you, or your hydrant will let you know that you're connected, and your operator will let you know when you're ready to flow the water. And you gather up your equipment and head to the fire scene. Reverse lay. When a pumper must go from the fire before laying a supply line, a reverse lay should be deployed from the incident to the water source. Quickest way to lay hose with apparatus that lays hose must stay at the water source, such as when drafting or boosting hydrant pressure to a supply line. Some of your disadvantages, you can delay initial fire tag. When you get off the truck to do a reverse lay, you've got to take all of your equipment off the truck. So whatever you might need to fight that fire, whatever tools you might need, you've got to take all of that stuff off before you can lay the hose down. It can cause the operator to stay with the pumper at the water source, preventing them from performing the essential fire ground activities. So basically, if you do a reverse lay, everything lays there and you move down to the water source and then you're stuck at the water source. Common operation involving two pumpers, a tag pumper and a water supply pumper. The first arriving starts initial fire tag using water from its tank. Second arriving lays supply line to the pumper to the water source. Only needs to connect layout hose to its discharge outlet, connect intake hose, and begin pumping. When a reverse length supply hose connecting a four-way hydrant valve is optional. I have never seen a four-way hydrant valve. I don't even know if we have one here. So we just kind of took that out of the presentation here. It can be used for if the pumper may have to disconnect from supply hose and leave hose connected to the hydrant. We can use a water thief for that. We can be able to shut it off real quick and disconnect. Disconnecting may be desirable when water demand diminishes to the point that the second pumper can be made available for response to other incidents. Using four-way valve in reverse lay provides the means to switch from pump pressure to hydrant pressure without interrupting flow. It's also used when the first pumper must work alone for an extended period of time. Hose is laid in reverse becomes the attack line. It is often connected to the reducing Y, so two smaller hoses can be used to make directional fire attack. So you see right here is your gated Y. That's more likely 2.5 to 3 inch supply line. Then you got your 2 inch and 3/4 for us, inch 8/8. So now you've got bi-directional attack lines. Firefighters frequently assist driver operators in making hydrant connections following a reverse lay. Soft or hard intake hose designed for hydrant operations may be used. Hard intake hose must be used when drafting from a static water supply. Can you connect a hard intake hose to a hydrant?
Once.
Once, yeah, that's it, because you're never gonna do it again. Make sure whatever you're connecting to your water source, whether it's a static or a hydrant, that you make sure that you have the proper hose connection. What is the difference between a forward lay and a reverse lay?
Truck pump, or truck placement.
Truck placement, whether it's at the scene or away from the scene. Lay into it or you lay away from it. Easiest way to remember that. Discussion. Provided an example of a situation that would require the use of a forward lay and a situation that would require the use of a reverse lay.
Forward lay standard on, for
Forward lay.
us, just about every structure fire that we usually want. But you could, if you roll up and your hydrant's 50 feet over that way, you could drop at the scene, pull up, hit that hydrant, but you're 50 feet away.
Yeah.
So you can,
Hand jack it at that point.
you can adjust it how you need to.
Mm-hmm. How about a reverse lay?
That's what I was talking about.
Oh, okay.
So if you pull up, you can drop at the scene, pull up to your hydrant. Because if you try to hand jack back the other way, that's 450 feet.
True.
As opposed to 50 foot. And I'm just throwing numbers out. You can drop it at the scene, pull up, hit this hydrant, and you're ready to go.
And it's all dependent on your department's SOPs.
Here in the county, like some county places, they'll do a single resource engine for
Mhm.
fire attack. That would be a good example of, like, say they have a pond or something, they need to draft out of that.
Right.
There's, here in the county, no hydrants anywhere.
Or a really long driveway, you can reverse lay from the scene down to the pumper, kind of relay pump.
Drop it.
Alright. So now we're gonna look at deploying deploying pre-connected hose lines. So this is like the meat and potatoes of what we do. If you don't deploy your hose line, properly, you're gonna get a bunch of kinks, you're gonna get a bunch of bends, a lot of friction loss. So we gotta make sure that we're effective when it comes to deploying our lines. Steps vary with different types of hose loads. May deploy to either side or from the rear of the apparatus. Some of ours you can deploy from the front. Advancing a Minuteman load deploys without dragging hose line on the ground. Hose unfolds from the top of the stack, carried on the shoulder as the firefighter advances forward. So your nozzle's down here at the bottom. As you're walking, it's flaking off the top. It should deploy with fewer kinks and fewer bends. Advancing a triple lay load or triple layer load, place the nozzle and fold the first tier on your shoulder, walk away from the apparatus. Once it clears the hose bed, it will get tight, and then you can remove that first tier from your nozzle and continue your advance. Deployment of hose sections, 2.5 inch or larger attack hose lines. They may be pre-connected, it may be a dead lay. Other may deploy using supply hose as an attack line. So we would primarily use our large diameter hoses for like blitz nozzles or any, I just had a brain fart there. Help me out.
Master strings.
Master strings, there we go. May be deployed from either side of the hose bed. May require adapters to make coupling with nozzles or to connect to the FDCs. Deploy individual sections from flat accordion or horseshoe loads. Load sections of hose on the shoulders of a series of firefighters, one firefighter per section. Multiple firefighters carry hose to desired location once it is disconnected from the remainder of the hose in bed. Because all folds in accordion and flat load are similar length, you should be able to load several folds onto the shoulders directly from the hose bed. So most typically we'll do 100 foot, most traditional for firefighter. So you got 2 connections, 2 hoses, throw it on your shoulder, take where you need to go. Burst hose line, very simple. It's going to reduce your pressure, your water flow may stop, and it should be replaced. We've got hose clamps. What's another method to stop that burst line to get it changed? Yeah, shut that down. What are 2 methods that can be used to deploy pre-connected hose line? What's our most common? Triple A. What else? Flat lay. Yep. Alright, discussion. What types of hose loads are commonly used in your jurisdiction, and what methods could be used to deploy these types of hose loads? So we just are common as a triple A. So what methods could be used to deploy this type of hose?
2-man stretching.
Over the shoulder and walk away.
Over the shoulder and walk away. Yeah, 2-man. As you're walking away with it, your operator could be flaking everything out of bed, get everything out, get it straight and ready. Making sure that there's no kinks or bends in the line. All right. Objective number 2. Describe methods of advancing hose lines. Once hose lines have been laid out from the attack pumper, they must be advanced into position for applying water into the fire. Advancing hose over flat surfaces with no obstacles is very simple using most advancement methods. Advancing hose lines become more difficult when hoses must be deployed, whether it's up a stairwell, from a standpipe, up ladders, or deep into a building. Hose lines can be advanced more easily before charge because water adds weight, pressure, and makes hose more difficult to maneuver. Often unsafe to enter a burning building with uncharged lines, firefighters must know how to handle charged and uncharged lines, must also know how to extend a hose line. So extending into a structure, advancing into a structure, working line drag. It is the quickest, easiest way to advance a charged hose line from ground level. Take it, throw it over your shoulder, walk. Very simple. You have resistance, you have pressure, That's the easiest way to do it. A lot of us will use hose snaggers, the snagger tools. That helps, takes a lot of pressure off and just scoop it and walk. Or you can also get your hose strap wrapped around, get on your shoulder and just walk with it that way as well. Before advancing into a structure, you must be alert for the potential dangers such as backdraft, flashover, or structural collapse. An uncharged hose line has advanced to the designated point of entry. Firefighters may need to remain at each corner or doorway to help guide hose line into the structure. General safety guidelines when advancing a hose line into a burning structure. Check and remove all kinks and bends from the hose line as it's advanced. Keep from friction loss. Open the nozzle fully, bleed the air from the hose, and check for adequate water flow. Select your desired pattern. So we use the combination nozzles. What is our saying with those? Right before you go into a fire. Right to fight. So make sure your nozzles turn all the way to the right, gives you a straight stream. Make sure you bleed your air, and then you can proceed to enter. Position nozzle operator and the hose team members on the same side of the hose line. Why would we go to the same side of the hose before we enter?
Easier to move.
Easier to move, keeps your firefighters out of pinch points, keeps you from being stuck to the wall as that hose is dragging across you, keeps you from tripping over it, trying to get to the other side.
It's easier to stay in contact with your partner.
Stay in contact with your partner, so safety is number one. So you can check for heat using a thermal imaging. If you don't have one, you can spray a small amount of water on the top of the door and see if steam is produced. Best practice is always to assume that there's heat behind every door. So just be prepared before you open that door. You're going to be able to blast the heat. You're going to stay low and avoid blocking the doorways and windows. Keep doors closed until ready to enter. Control the openings to limit the flow path, and check or chalk self-closing doors to prevent them from closing and pinching the hose line. So we want to control that flow. As soon as you open up that door, you change that flow path. So we want to try to keep that controlled as much as possible. Advancing up a stairway. Challenging, gotta be done. When conditions allow, hose lines should be advanced uncharged. Shoulder carry works well for stair advancement because the hose is carried instead of drag and deployed as needed. Minuteman load can carry is excellent for stairways. Advancing hose up and down stairways. When advancing up a stairway, lay uncharged hose against the outside wall to keep the stairs clear as possible. Avoid sharp bends and kinks. Advancing uncharged hose down the stairs easier than advancing charged hose downstairs. I recommend only when the fire is very minor or not present. While advancing an uncharged line is easier, an uncharged line offers no protection if the fire is worsened. Charged lines are always recommended. So if you know you're going down to fire, just keep your line charged, bled from air, ready to fight. As soon as you get down there, conditions can change. Make sure you're ready. Advancing charged hose line down a stairway. Deploying excess hose that would obstruct the stairs. Excess hose should be stretched outside the stairway. Firefighters should position on stairs to feed the hose down to the nozzle team. Firefighters must be positioned at corners and pinch points. Help keep that line flowing down nice and easy without snags. Must have enough hose to reach the fire, including the distance of the stairs, around the corners, and to the fire, or to the fire floor. Standpipe operations. Fires beyond reach of pre-connected hose lines require that hoses be carried to a standpipe outlet closest to the fire. High-rise packs are most commonly used. Presented hose, pre-assembled hose rows, bundles, or packs on apparatus ready to carry upstairs and connect the standpipe. These are constructed or a matter of local preference, so whichever Crews find the best way to pack that high rise. Usually becomes the SOP on that. Most common hose bundles that are easily carried on shoulder or specially designed hose packs with nozzles, fittings, and tools. Hose must be carried to the fire floor over an aerial ladder or up interior stairway. Crews normally stop one floor below fire floor and connect the tacked hose lines to the standpipe. If standpipe connection is enclosed stairway, it is acceptable to connect to the fire floor. Standpipe connection is usually in or near a stairway. Can get general idea of the floor layout when you observe the floor below. So most floors are pretty well the same. So as you're making your way up, just keep notice of how the layout is. Be alert for pressure relief devices and follow your SOPs for removal or connection. If 1.5 inch, 3/4, or 2 inch hose is used, place indicated wide will permit attachment of second hose if needed. 2.5 inch attack line may be used depending on the size and nature of fire. While connection is completed, extra hose should be deployed upstairs toward the floor above the fire. You see here, they have the hose, so you got your fire floor, take the hose up a flight, and then come back down, so that way all your excess hose will come down the stairs with you, makes it easier to pull and deploy. When 2 lines advance from the same standpipe connection, you deploy one down the lower stairs and one up the stairway. So you can see here, they took one down and then back up. So that will help keep your hoses from tangling together, getting kinked, or creating a big old mess outside in the hallway. When standpipe's not available, but stairways are accessible, one of the safest ways to get hose to the upper stories is carried in a bundle. Lower female end over balcony railing or window to connect to a water source. Another method, you can hoist the hose up with a nozzle or up to the window or the landing using a rope. Improvising a standpipe. Most building codes mandate installation of standpipes and structures 3 stories and higher. We don't have very many of those here. We might have, 2? Or more than 3 story? Maybe?
Oh, we got more than that.
Do we? Older buildings and those less than 3 stories may not have standpipes or standpipe connections. They are obstructed or out of service as a result of construction, demolition, tampering, natural disasters. You can create an improvised standpipe by either an interior stairway stretch or an outside stretch. Of course, there's a caution. When firefighters must improvise a standpipe system, there will be a delay in applying water to a fire. This delay must be considered in planning the overall firefighting strategy. Why would it delay?
You need to set it up.
Yeah, you gotta set it up. So if you don't have a water source in the building with you, you gotta create a water source, which ultimately takes time. Your interior stairway stretch is labor intensive. Using stairways that have open shaft or stairwell in the center. Uncharged hose line suspended in the middle of the stairs rather than laying on the stairs and around each corner. Hose rolls or bundles can be carried up the stairs, securing to handrails and the end lowered to the point where another section can be attached. Secure hose to the handrails for support at appropriate intervals to reduce tendency of water weight. Pull the hose back down once it is charged. So webbing, rope. Advancing dry hose line during interior stairway stretch should be a factor in diameter. Pressurized hose relative to the space between the handrail openings. So if you've got a 2-inch handrail and you try to stick a 5-inch through it, that's not going to work, is it? It might get it in there, but once you charge it, it's not going to work out for you. I don't know what the codes are as far as what the width in between each post has to be. That might be something to look into to get a better reference. An outside stretch can be used for lower floors of high-rise buildings. Supply hose can be hoisted up the exterior of the building to the desired floor using a rope or webbing. Because the weight of water is charged lines can cause hose to fall back down the building. Some of the hose line can be extended into windows and secured to available anchor points inside the building at an interval of about every 3 stories, once in every 3 stories. Advancing up a ladder. May be necessary to advance a hose up a ground ladder or an aerial device if standpipes are not available, a stairway is not accessible, or there's no other viable option. Easier and safer with an uncharged line, so you don't have all that weight pulling you down. Firefighter heeling the ground ladder can help feed the hose to those on the ladder in most cases. If hose is already charged, it may help to drain the hose before advancing up the ladder. To avoid overloading the ladder, only one person per section of the ladder. Rope hoses or rope hose tools or utility straps can be used for advancement. Hose can be charged once it's reached the point where the fire tag must be made. Do not exceed rated weight capacity of the ladder. If the hose cannot be passed up the ladder without exceeding the load limit, it should be hoisted up. So we take those load limits very seriously. It's all about our safety. Sometimes firefighters need to operate hose lines from a ground ladder, supported aerial ladder. Tip of aerial ladder must be in contact with the windowsill. Aerial platforms can be used as portable standpipes for advancing hose lines onto the floor. High-rise pack is placed on platform with the attack line crew. When platform arrives at desired floor and window is open, hose is attached to discharge outlet on the platform. Crew advances hose line onto the floor, and the hose is charged. What is the difference between advancing an uncharged and a charged hose line? What's the biggest one?
Easier for uncharged.
It's easier for uncharged. Why is that?
There's not the weight.
There's not the water weight. Right. We want to try to avoid that as much as possible, depending on the situation of the fire. Objective number 3, explain how to operate different types of hose lines, nozzles, and master stream devices. 1 or 2 firefighters can operate small hose lines such as booster lines, 1.5 inch, 3 inch and 3/4, and 2 inch hose lines. Small hose lines can require additional firefighters when the hose is charged or there's obstructions to navigate. One firefighter method for small hose line operations only occurs when combating small ground cover fires, rubbish or trash fires, vehicle fires, fires in an outbuilding or shed, or a rekindle during overhaul. Now that is also dependent on the amount of personnel that you have. Smaller departments, you only get 5 or 6 on scene until everybody else arrives, and you kind of got to use your knowledge and some hose straps to make the attack yourself. 2 firefighter method for small hose line operations. 2 firefighters are the minimum number required for handling any attack line during interior structural firefighter operations or structural fire operations. Nozzle operator holds the nozzle with one hand, holds hose behind the nozzle with the other hand. Hose line rests against the waist and across the hip. Nozzle is equipped with a pistol grip, holds the pistol grip in one hand, operates the bell with the other. Your backup firefighter, positioned on the same side of the hose about 3 feet behind the nozzle operator, holds the hose with both hands, rests it against the waist and across the hip, or brace it with one leg. Must keep the hose straight behind the nozzle operator. Extended operations, 1 or both firefighters may apply a hose strap or a hose tool to reduce the effects of the nozzle reaction. Do not direct the fog stream into a ventilation opening during offensive interior operations. If the interior crew is in the room or area immediately beyond the ventilation opening, do not direct a hose stream of any kind into the ventilation opening. Why would we want to avoid that? Now, you're going to change that flow path. And if your crew is not aware of it, you're going to put them in direct harm. Operating large attack hose lines. Methods in following sections can be used with 2.5 and 3 inch or larger attack lines. 1 firefighter method for a large hose line operation. One firefighter may be assigned to operate a large hose line during exposure protection or overhaul, or if a master stream device is not available. To reduce fatigue during extended operations, the nozzle operator can use a hose strap or a rope tool looped over the shoulder to reduce the nozzle flow if conditions allow. Does not permit much maneuvering of the nozzle except for limited lateral or side-to-side motion. What's another way that we can handle a large diameter hose by ourselves? If you're just going to stay in one place and move it side to side, all right, make a loop, sit on the cross. 2 firefighter method for large hose line operation. When 2 firefighters are assigned, they may need a way to anchor the hose line to offset the nozzle reaction. Another 2 firefighter method using hose straps or hose tools to assist in anchoring. Nozzle operator loops the strap or rope hose tool around hose short distance from the nozzle. So you go 2 or 3 feet from the nozzle, wrap your strap. Place a large loop across the back and over the outside shoulder. Hose holds the nozzle with one hand and hose just behind the nozzle with the other hand. Hose line rests against the body. Leaning slightly forward helps control the nozzle reaction. The backup firefighter serves as the anchor about 3 feet back. And they also have a strap or hose tool around the hose, and they're going to lean their shoulders forward to absorb some of that nozzle reaction as well. How can firefighters control hose lines? Hose strap, hose tool, another person. Operating nozzles. Because of different designs of handling nozzles, each handle somewhat differently when operated at recommended pressures. Variable pattern nozzles may handle differently at different settings. Nozzle water pattern may affect the ease of which the nozzle is operated. At or above standard operating procedures, nozzles can be difficult to control. Nozzle reaction. When water flows from the nozzle, it creates force in the direction of the stream. Equal force in the opposite direction pushes back on the nozzle operator. Velocity and flow rate is what causes that pushback. Reaction acts against the nozzle and occurs in the hose line, sometimes making the nozzle difficult to handle. Increasing nozzle discharge pressure and flow rate increases nozzle reaction. Nozzle reaction that fog nozzle causes will vary depending on its setting. When the fog nozzle is set on straight stream or narrow stream, reaction resembles that of a smooth bore. Resembles, not exact. As the fog pattern widens, the reaction decreases and the nozzle is easier to handle. During interior operations, nozzles can be operated while operators on one knee. One person can usually operate a nozzle 1.5 inches or smaller hose line. 1 3/4 or larger hose line requires additional personnel. Again, that all kind of comes down to your staffing. If you're there by yourself until the next truck arrives, you gotta do what you gotta do. It requires additional personnel to overcome the reaction and maneuver the hose line. Handling fog nozzle is the same as a smooth bore nozzle. Friction loss. Part of total water pressure that is lost while forcing water through pipes, fittings, fire hose, and adapters. When water flows through these, the water molecules rub against the inside, producing friction. Friction slows down the water and reduces your pressure at the nozzle. Loss of pressure in hose line between pumper and nozzle, excluding pressure changes due to elevation, is most common example of friction loss. Certain characteristics of hose layouts affect friction loss, such as hose size, length, and lay. So if it's not laid out properly, if it's not straight, if you're not free of kinks and bends, you're going to get a lot of friction loss. Friction loss is increased by rough linings.
On ladder 1, fire alarm at 1200 Clark Avenue. Time is 9:50.
2.5 like a month. Gonna pause that.
I can't pause it.
You can't?
No, pause it, you've got to restart the whole thing.
Okay.
We'll just kind of keep going.
It's Easter.
What's that?
Easter.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, so we kinda need to keep an eye or an ear out.
Okay. I'll tell you what, we're about an hour into this. Let's take a 10-minute break.
Okay.
Come back to first loss. Maybe 10, 15 minutes. I hate reading for this.
Well, let's just keep it. Points. So, remember what nice call.
Section 11, fire air, engine 101, you can disregard fire alarm at 1200 Park Avenue. Disregard.
Perfect time for a break.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Fire 1, we advise that you hold the fire alarm. And 20.
Okay, that's what it usually is if it's cooking. I'll just stand off that block, that was in.
Make sure your recording's doing good. Never hit record. I had to start recording it when I was doing my setup. They want to see me setting up my tables and whichever setting I want, and then making sure that everything worked up here. So that's why I came in about 10-15 minutes early to start the video.
I don't know about you, but if you forgot to hit record, I'd probably crash out.
I'd probably cry if I forgot to hit record, to be honest with
Somebody
you.
told me that, they forgot they did the whole thing.
That's rough.
While we're waiting, anybody have any questions so far?
What are you buying for lunch?
Bologna sandwiches sound pretty good.
Sweet.
Speaking of, we were talking about that out there. Can you guys have your class later? Are you two going? And then I'm gonna come over here with them. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we'll meet back over here and we'll just go get lunch.
Yeah.
Alright guys, we're gonna keep that door open. Get a little warm in here. So we started talking about friction loss right before that alarm went out. We decided to take a break and you guys got canceled, so it worked out great. Friction loss is increased by rough linings in fire hose, damaged hose couplings, sharp bends in the hose, the number of adapters, length of the hose lay, and the hose diameter. Friction loss overcome or reduced by increasing your hose size, adding parallel hose lines, increasing pump pressure, and removing kinks or sharp bends. Difference in elevation between nozzle and pumping apparatus cause elevation pressure. One way to easily remember this, if your nozzle is above the pump, you're gonna have pressure loss. If you're below the pump at a downgrade, you're gonna have pressure gain. A little better down than it does up, so easy way to remember that. Adjusting pressure with the pump compensates for changes in pressure due to gravity. And this is everybody's favorite topic, water hammer. What's water hammer?
Shut the nozzle down too quick.
Shutting it down too quickly. When a nozzle is closed suddenly, a shock wave is produced when moving water reaches to the closed nozzle and stops with great force. Water hammer resulting pressure surge. Sudden change of direction creates excessive pressure that can damage your water mains, plumbing, fire hose, hydrants, pumps, nozzles. Minimum at low flow rates. Higher flow rates effects increase significantly. To prevent water hammer, slowly close the nozzles, the hydrants, your control valves, and hose clamps. Basically, if you're going to shut anything off, do it slowly.
I got a question.
Yeah.
So, what year was this published? Do you know?
I don't know the exact, but I can definitely find out for you, let you know.
Well, the reason I asked is the last time I come across the subject of water hammer, it kind of become a thing of the past.
Yeah.
So I was just wondering, is it still a relevant issue or not? Because a lot of guys are cycling the hose lines, to get kinks out and stuff, and essentially you're water hammering that.
Yeah, I have seen, I forget what the hose lay is called, but you jerk it a couple of times and it pops it all up and gets the kinks out.
Yeah, and your water, according to this, you're water hammering that line.
Right.
But, so I just wondered, are they still teaching that? That's why I asked what year this was.
I don't know exactly what year, but this is the current. They haven't revised anything yet. I think they come up to next year, the year after to do revisions, but it is still practice.
Yeah, cause you can tell with somebody that, you can tell by watching the hose.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I mean, the
Pop
hose,
up.
the way the hose reacts, you can tell that they're shutting it too fast.
And I'm not an engineer, and I don't know if these newer pumps have, baffles in them to keep the water hammer from causing major effects, but.
and the other thing that I've heard, is that these pumps they're kind of bulletproof for that now. Like,
It might be bulletproof, not firefighter proof.
well, yeah, but I mean, they're built for that.
Right.
Like, you're not gonna hurt that from hammering the pump, but I don't know, I'm no expert, this is just the last time that we had addressed this, it's been several years ago, it wasn't a thing anymore.
Yeah. You got something?
Just really quick, and the modern, but this is geared more towards the older pumps with the still have the pressure relief valves. With the modern pumps, you won't have as much effects with water hammer because they're designed almost with a one-way valve in there. So when the water goes back up, it keeps it from shoving it back in. You'll still have minor, small amounts, which is what you'll see with that movement of the hose. So you can still have it, but it's water hammers more nowadays towards the hydrants and the mains of shutting those down, as well as your large diameter, so your deck guns and stuff.
That's good to
Obviously,
know.
this is what it's teaching, and that we should still follow what it's teaching.
Right. That's good to know, I didn't know that. Appreciate that. Anybody else? No? So on a review, how can firefighters operating hose lines combat nozzle reaction? So nozzle reaction, we're talking about operating the hose line, not shutting it out. So
Wait,
you open it and you kick it
Wait.
back
Bleed it.
there, well,
Bleed.
bleeding it, yeah, that'll cause, it'll keep it from initially kicking back on you. Yeah, having a backer, having your straps. What causes friction loss?
Like the
Friction.
hose.
Friction, yeah, it's in the name, good job.
It's,
The lining's in the hose, right, yeah.
it's, how do I explain it?
Elevation.
Without,
Elevation.
just repeating what you said, it's
Repeat
the,
it.
it's the force that the water's going through,
Mhm.
it's the resistance.
Right, really, the
Resistance,
resistance
not
from the
force,
lining.
but as water's going through, whatever it's going through,
Mm.
it has resistance, and that slows it down.
Now your kinks and bends.
You need more and more pressure to push it up when you're going in the incline.
What about the hose distance? What's the maximum we can go? Is it 400 foot? Before you really start seeing a lot of friction loss with this newer hose that we have?
It depends.
Like the LDH or?
No, the combat hose, the H88.
I mean, it depends.
Maybe it's 300 foot.
You still got elevation,
Right. And that all plays a factor in it.
it depends on, if you're going straight flat, I don't remember what it is, but
It was 300 or 400 foot. They don't want us going much more than that.
you still have some, but it's not, with this new hose, it's not a lot.
Right. What should firefighters do to avoid water hammer?
Open and close valves slowly.
Slow and smooth, that's right. Here's what I got tongue tied on earlier, master string devices. Usually deployed when the fire is beyond effectiveness of hand lines and the need for a hose stream in areas that are unsafe for firefighters. So we just had an incident a couple weeks ago that required the use of master streams rather than hose lines. Placement. Your placement on a master stream is extremely important. You need to be positioned to apply effective hose stream on a fire, particularly when using a fog nozzle, because the fog streams do not have the same stream reach and penetration of a solid stream. Nozzles can be adjusted up and down, right and left, must be shut down before it can be relocated. Moving master stream devices can be time consuming, labor intensive, causing the device to be out of operation for some time. So it's not like our attack nozzles. You can't just pick it up, move it around, run it around. Our master stream devices, pretty big in size, got a couple lines going into it. Some of them you can even do a 4 to 5 inch supply line into it, push a large amount of water. The angle at which the stream enters the structure is very important. Aim the stream so it enters the structure at an upward angle. So when you enter it at an upward angle, it's going to cause the water to deflect off the ceiling, creating the droplets to get your mass effect. Sorry. So it makes the stream diffuse into smaller droplets that rain down on the fire, providing maximum effectiveness. Streams that enter at a horizontal or less angle are not as effective. Place master stream device where it allows the stream to cover the most surface area of the building, especially when there is a large volume of fire and limited number of master stream devices. This allows the firefighters to change the direction of the stream and move it or direct it into more than one opening. So they got it placed right here at the front, and they're able to hit that entire floor by the placement of it. Now, if you put it on the corner, you might not be able to reach as far to one side as you can the other. So we need to make sure when we set it down and put it in place, we're able to move it to cover the whole span, rather than having to shut it down and move it to get to another spot and restart the process. Master streams can also provide effective exposure protection. Most effective approach, direct stream at the surface of a structure facing the fire. Stream should strike the surface and run down. If the surface is wide, multiple devices can be used. One or more unit can sweep the face and keep it wet. So basically we're gonna hose down that whole side of the structure that's facing the fire to reduce that exposure. Flow at a minimum of 350 gallons per minute can mean high friction loss in supply line. Not practical to supply with anything less than a 2.5 inch hose line, except for quick attack devices designed to operate from a single 2.5 inch line. Conventional devices may be temporarily supplied by a 2.5 line while adding additional hose lines. When greater quantities of water are required, a third 2.5 or large diameter supply line will be required. Some devices equipped to handle one large diameter, some are equipped to handle one larger supply line. Like I said, we have one that I believe takes the 5 inch. So it's very effective, very heavy, very labor intensive to set up. New guys, that's a skill that we'll get to. Large amounts of water accumulate inside the structures when streams are directed into the buildings. It's going to accumulate on the floors. The contents in the building are going to absorb that water. Accumulation, absorption add water weight, and it affects the structural integrity, which increases the potential for collapse during an overhaul or fire investigation. And there we are, there's our caution. Added water weight from master stream operations increase the potential for structural collapse. So that all adds dead weight if you can't run out. So you're adding 8 pounds per gallon, I believe. And if you're shooting 350 gallons per minute in there and it's all setting up, it's a lot of weight to hold down. Deploying a master stream device and necessary water supply hose lines usually require a minimum of 2 firefighters. Except for apparatus mounted deck guns, more firefighters can accomplish faster, especially on some of ours that have the electronic setup. Get that thing going while you're setting everything else and you're ready to rock. Once in place, 1 firefighter can operate it. When water is flowing, at least 1 firefighter should be stationed at the device. Unless it is being used in a hazardous position, close to a fire weakened wall or near an LPG tank. Again, that comes back to our safety. You can set it up and make sure it's properly anchored and it's not going to move, and then you can walk away from it. You can change the direction of the stream when it's required by staying with it and prevent pressure and hose lines from moving the device. If a situation is too dangerous to have firefighters stationed at the device, it can be anchored in place. Personnel can withdraw to a safe distance once the device is deployed, the hose line is attached and charged, and the desired stream is developed. Again, you want to make sure that it's anchored in place. If it does start to move, your operator can reduce that pressure a little bit and get it to stop moving. Elevated master streams. Apply water to upper stories of buildings as direct fire attack or an improvised standpipe and can supply water to hand lines. It can provide structure or exposure protection to endangered structures. Different types of aerial apparatus can deliver elevated master streams. Most common are quints, aerial ladders, aerial platforms. You may also be assigned to operate this master stream device, and you can support in the operation. How are master stream devices used? Large fires where hose lines aren't available or easily accessible. All right. Defensive fire attack, aerial fire attack, you know, anything that's not safe for us to go into, you can set up a master stream device. All right, are there any questions? Anything at all relating to the content? All right. Let's take a little test. 10 questions, nothing too bad. You guys will have about 10-15 minutes to do it. Once you are finished, just flip it over. You guys can step out, take a little break. Once I get everything done, then we can take a step back inside and go over our skills.
Thank you. Good job, man.
And we're not done yet.
You got a red pen?
No,
Just get Jim over here to have,
just
just cause his name's Jim.
That's all right.
about 10
I'm
minutes.
sorry.
You're good, you're good. About 10 minutes here, and we'll. Oh. Did not grab a red pen. All right. Are you guys ready? Everything on? Are y'all out there too?
Time for me to get on out of here, y'all. Bye. Well, dang.
That time already?
Yeah.
You know how it is.
Your class was rather,
Your class was rather wonderful. What's that? What's that? Yeah, I just looked at an hour 34, we're sitting there right now. But I got about 6 minutes started early to set it all up.
Y'all have a wonderful day.
Oh, appreciate it, man. Take care.
We doing it in here or we moving outside?
We're gonna go over the skills first.
Okay. No, class ain't until 1 o'clock,
Leadership class. Yeah.
so that's, should be
Yeah, we'll probably,
Terry and Ashley.
yeah, we'll probably just grab lunch. Depending on Terry, if he wants to eat first, then we'll probably just go ahead and eat when he gets ready. I guess we need to find out, if we're gonna be in engine 1 if he wants us to stay in ladder 3.
You'll be in ladder 1. Cause you'll have 2 vocab kids.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Go Cap Kid said, see you guys later, thanks for letting me come in.
You didn't want to have to do the exercises.
Alright. Alright, now we got a couple of skills to get completed. Which ones are doing the skills with me? These 3? Okay.
I'll do one. I can pull the
Well, I need
flat leg.
whoever's not doing it to reset the trucks, get ready for the next evolution.
Well, the flat leg's gonna be easy, so I can pull it and open the leg.
Yeah,
Now, do you have to video the,
I have to do, I gotta video all that too.
so you need somebody's video.
Yeah, I'll need somebody to carry the camera around. Or the tablet, the brick.
Seriously.
I'm just.
Alright, so we're gonna review the,
No, I'm just trying to figure out his game plan.
yeah, when we go out there, somebody will have to carry the camera, and then as we're moving stuff along, we'll have to relay the truck, and which I'm about to get in all that right now. So for the skills portion of it, I want everybody to be safe out there. It's not completely level ground. There's a lot of cracks in the ground. So walk slowly. No running, no jumping, no dropping elbows off the truck. Let's keep it safe and slow. Required PPE for the skills will be full PPE. I want you guys to have a pack on, but not on air. So I want this to be treated as if we are on a active fire scene. We're just gonna limit the air consumption. So that means Nomex, hoods, structural firefighting gear, boots, and helmet. So we got 2 hose lays that we're gonna lay out. We're gonna do a flat lay and a triple lay. Everybody familiar with the triple lay? Which sure hope so, being our #1 lay. So we're not, unless you guys want to review going over the triple lay. Okay. On a flat lay, it's not something that we do very often. So we'll run through each step on here. You're gonna put one arm through the larger pull loop and grab the shorter pull loop with the same hand. And grab the nozzle with the opposite and drape it over your shoulder. So you're gonna reach through, grab, reach around, get your nozzle, and then you're gonna pull it from the bed using the pull loops by facing away from the apparatus and walking toward the area designated by the instructor. After deploying the nozzle to a designated area, check to make sure the hose was pulled from the hose bed. You're going to walk the length of the hose, adjusting the hose to ensure it is free of kinks and bends. So we're going to pull it out, we're going to make sure it's straight. We're not charging it. Now we're just pulling it out, make sure it's straight, there's no kinks or bends. And then once we get finished with that one, we'll move into the AAA. We're going to do this individual. So while we're out there, one person's going to be pulling hose. You guys can review, and then I'll come back and get the next one, gear up, get ready. When we're finished with pulling hose, we are going to do a one firefighter method on a hose operation. So after our last interval with the, let me go back for just a second. On the AAA, we're going to pull an 1 3/4 line. On the flat leg, we're going to pull a 2.5. The last person to pull the 1 8/8 or 1 3/4, we're going to leave it on the ground. We're going to utilize that one as our operation methods. So we're going to do one firefighter. We're going to position the hose and extend it straight behind them for approximately 10 feet. Grab the hose that stands facing the objective with feet positioned to form a solid base. Hold the hose line with one hand behind nozzle, or grips the nozzle handle to the opposite hand on the nozzle shutoff valve, keeping it within arm's length. Prepare to absorb the reaction force of the nozzle according to local SOPs, and then open the nozzle valve fully and operates the nozzle flowing water to the objective. If using a fog nozzle, adjust the fog nozzle as necessary to achieve the desired stream, which is what did we say earlier? Right to fight. So let's make sure it's turned all the way to the right. Close this valve to stop the flow of water, preventing water hammer, and maintain control of the line with two hands. 2 firefighter method, grab and holds the hose line with one hand behind the nozzle, or grips the nozzle handle on the opposite hand, or on the shutoff valve, keeping it within arm's length. Positions second firefighter on the same side as them and at least one arm's length behind them, and instructs them to grab the hose and hold it at approximately the same level they are. Both firefighters prepare to absorb the reaction force of the nozzle, and then opens the nozzle valve fully and operates the nozzle flowing water to the objective. If using the fog nozzle, again adjust it right to fight. Firefighter on the nozzle always maintains control of the hose line with two hands. Always maintains control of the hose line with two hands, and then closes the valve to stop the flow of the water, preventing a water hammer. So what we'll do is each person will go out and do one firefighter, and then the last person will just kind of rotate and get everybody in on the 2 firefighter. Both will be changing positions so everybody gets the same feel. Any questions?
I was just pulling engine one out.
We're gonna do ladder 3. Yeah, we'll probably just do it off ladder 3. Well, we're gonna do it in the back parking lot here, so we need to make sure we have room. So yeah, we'll do ladder 3. When you pull the hose, you're gonna pull it straight out towards the street. Make sure there's no cars coming. So whenever we get to the hose operation and you have to open it up, make sure there's no traffic coming, and then we will open the hose. The objective is to get it across the street in a straight stream without hitting anybody or any cars. Operate for about 30 seconds, and then we'll shut it down. Sound good? What am I missing? Something. All right. Well, we will take a quick little break, get everything in position. Yes, we are going to pull the AAA. You're going to pull both of them. So we're going to do a AAA and the flat leg. So you'll do one right after the other. And as we rotate around, whoever is not participating is going to relay the hoses for us. So that way we can get back in here, get the next one geared up and ready, and pull the two lines. So like I said, let's keep it safe, keep it slow. Make sure all the bends are out of the hose. Make sure there's no kinks, no flat. Guys good? All right, let's go get everything in position. If you guys could, right before we get started, when you come out, bring your skill sheets with you so I can check those off. You don't need to right now. We got to get everything ready.
I'll get my stuff. So I'll go first.
Okay. Make sure my battery's charged. Alright. Actually, I'm gonna leave this sitting right here until we get everything ready to go. I don't want to just drain that battery any faster than it needs to. Ellis, you doing alright?
Yeah. You?
Living that dream, man. While you're in here alone, I'll give you your test back real quick. So each one is worth 10 points.
Mm-hmm.
You did miss 2.
Okay.
If you want to review that real quick, if you got any questions, let me know. I think the second one was the common yes.
Oh, yeah.
Probably misworded.
Next word.
Yep.
Oh, excuse me.
We're going to do this off of ladder 3. I think you left right before we started going over all that for the door. We're going to do all this off ladder 3, the back parking lot. So they should be getting ready to pull it around, and Alex is going to be the first victim, student. Once we get everything set up, if you would, I'll have you grab the tablet to record, but I don't want to disconnect the power until we're ready, so I don't throw the battery down.
No, you're gonna have them just one pull across the one cross slide, and then the other two pull the other one.
Now they each have to pull each one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're gonna reset.
Yep. But we're gonna do where they pull the triple leg, make sure it's 3 keys and bends, and then come straight back to the flat leg and pull that out. So, yeah, so when the next person is ready to roll. I can't pause it or edit it. It has to all be raw footage.
Oh, for Pete's sakes. No, I mean, I get it. But just,
If I do pause it, I have to send an explanation of why I paused it.
moving from skills. I guess there it is.
Alright, you ready? Jim, you ready?
Ready as I'll ever be. If I can see. Oh, there it is.
Alright, so we're gonna do the AAA first. Yep, straight through the bay. Guys that are doing the AAA, we're going to go straight down, straight through the bays, out to the front apron. And then on the flat lay, you're going to take it out to the first section, first street, and then you're going to go up the sidewalk. Try to keep it out of the road.
Just drop it.
Hang on, T. Pull top. My hands are cold.
Just a little bit. Because we gotta leave this hole here for the nozzles. Look at that.
Yeah, but for right now, we're
Well, for now, I don't give a shit.
ready, Jim. Is Chris ready?
Ready? So who's next? Ellis is going next. You got your skill sheet with you? It's on the table. Grab it real quick. All right, you're good. Go ahead. Just drop it. Drop it. Still recording?
Yeah.
Good.
I hope so. I can't tell. I haven't touched nothing.
Just to make sure. Yeah, we're good. Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
Can I make a small suggestion?
Yeah, good. You got your skill sheet? Get it. Yeah. Yeah, I need it.
Oh, excuse me.
We've all been through it.
Skill 2. All right, guys, just a few more minutes here. We're putting this hose back away, and we're going to get started on the nozzle methods.
Ready to do the nozzle method?
Oh, excuse me.
Perfect. All right. Good. Good job. Good. Good. Well, when you guys will have to vacuum up here in just a second. Perfect. Now, if you guys want to downgrade me back in the file set. Set that back up in there. Actually, Ellis, you can hang out for a minute since I've already gone over your test results with you. Nick, if you want to downgrade, come in here real quick. We'll go over your test. going to downgrade. Pull each student individually, go over their test results and their skills evaluation. All right, how do you think you did on skills?
Pretty good.
You did great. Just always remember we got to make sure we're free of kinks and bends. You did awesome. It was easy on the NJ8 because it was a straight line. You could see the whole view. So, how do you think you did on test?
Aced it.
Well, each one is worth 10 points. 10 points a question, 10 questions makes 100. Actually makes 1,000. That's fine. Well, you got 100. You did great. All right, man. If you send Alex in here for me real quick.
Yep.
I've already gone over with Ellis.
Hi.
What's up?
I failed.
Well, how do you think you did on the skills?
A little confused on parts of it, but I got it done.
Our flat lay is a little bit different than what's described,
Yeah.
but you did great. You got the mission accomplished. How do you think you did on the test?
Pass. Failed.
Got 100. You did great.
I hate people that do this.
If you would, go ahead and bring everybody back into class
Yeah.
and we'll get concluded. I went over Ellis's with him while you guys were out there setting up.
Cool.
So.
I think you were an effective teacher.
Yeah, this time.
Alright. Home, everyone.
Oh, that's.
Yeah.
So you said all of this has to be scanned and submitted?
Yeah, I'll help you.
Okay.
Not in a joking way either. Like, okay. And you don't like one.
That's why I said Mike.
We're not doing anything big for lunch, are we?
This back in the office.
I'll help you get all that submitted and uploaded.
What?
All the instructor stuff today when he's over here. It's confusing when you upload all of it because it has to be itemized in folders.
Oh, to help him do it?
Yeah, when he's over here, we'll get it. I'll make sure by the end of the day he's all uploaded and good. Oh, I feel like somebody stabbed my foot.
I did.
No, after that last shift.
He's not recording.
Give me a steroid shot, shove it in the bottom.
No, it's better. You know, while you were sleeping, I snuck into your room. I shanked your bottom of your foot.
You shanked the foot. Did you hit the metal at least?
Yeah.
Good job.
Raised right across it.
I just hope that when it goes away, but if not, it might be one of the screws went through again. In which case I'm taking wire cutters and just cutting it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I requested them nicely.
Oh, wow. It's got 86.72% red, the country, and 13.28% blue. What was really surprising to me is Trump did better in New York
Alright.
and
People can't
California.
afford anything.
It was amazing how, because typically, I mean, Republicans are way down.
Yeah, they usually bottom out.
You know, I mean, barely.
They had a citizen in the parking lot, so.
Yeah, I forgot to tell you that.
Yeah, so they were finishing that up. They'll be in here in just a minute. You guys got any questions? Any feedback?
And you did good.
Sweet.
What I already told you.
I am kind of surprised that they didn't have a like an evaluation form for me to pass out. Yeah, it's still recording. We're good.
Yeah, usually they got an instructor eval.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't see that in the.
Yeah.
They're not requiring it?
Mm-mm. Well, I figured there would be. You know, maybe watching the video and us talking about it, maybe they'll re-implement it. He's finishing up.
Sorry about the tardiness.
It's accepted. We approve. Alright guys, just real quick, I wanted to thank you guys again for being here with me today. Everybody did great. I appreciate all the effort. Appreciate all the help getting everything reloaded so we can push on and get these skills done. Anybody have any questions? Anybody feel pretty confident? Anybody learned something new? Got a couple notes here. All right, guys. Well, that's all I got for you guys today, unless you got any questions, and we will conclude the training session. All right, thanks, guys.
I can't get